There was a lady witch in Amina's village. She used to be the wife of their king, but she was introduced to witchcraft by an unknown person and ended up killing the king's elder sister because she had challenged her. In their village, once you killed someone, you were killed in return. However, being the wife of a king, he couldn't watch her being killed, so he banished her instead. She went far into the forest, built her castle, and started to live there all alone with her bird. She began terrorizing the village, coming around every 12 p.m. with her bird sitting on her left shoulder, then leaving around 3 p.m. Whenever she came around, she took along whoever or whatever she saw, be it human or animal. All the villagers would lock themselves in their houses whenever she was around, and the few people she had taken away were never found or returned. Amina's family consisted of her aged grandmother, her 2 siblings, her mother, and her goat, Kola. Her father had been taken away by the lady witch a year ago on his way back from work and had never returned. One night, they all had dinner together and bade each other good night. The next morning, Amina's mother woke her and her siblings for school, but grandmother was still asleep when they left. They usually left for school around 7:30 a.m. to be back by 10:30 a.m., all returning home before the lady witch struck. When they returned home after school, at the same time as their mother, who had gone to the market, they couldn't find grandmother. They searched everywhere, but still couldn't find her, then returned home a few minutes before 12 p.m. A few minutes past 3 p.m., when the lady witch had gone, they continued their search but found grandmother's walking stick and glasses somewhere in the woods. They immediately knew that the lady witch had taken her. That night, Amina's mother couldn't eat. She was drowning in her own tears. Amina lay on her bed thinking about the whole thing. The lady witch took my dad away, she thought. Am I going to just sit here and allow her to go away with grandma again just like that? Hell no. The next day, very early in the morning, Amina took Kola and went in search of her grandmother. They got to where they had found her glasses and walking stick and called out to her several times, but there was no response. Amina and Kola were in the woods for hours searching for her. Then all of a sudden there was a loud neigh coming from Kola. She was screaming at the top of her voice. Kola, will you just keep quiet and allow me to concentrate? What is it? Amina thundered. Then she looked closely at Kola and discovered that she wasn't even looking at her, but at something behind her. Amina turned slowly, and there she was, the lady witch standing behind her. What are you doing here at this hour? Have you forgotten it's my time? The witch asked calmly, smiling and caressing her index finger. I'm here with my goat in search of my grandma. You took my father a year ago, and there's no way I'm going to allow you to take my grandmother too. No way, Amina said, looking at her. You are here to challenge me? The witch questioned, bursting into laughter. You think I'm afraid of you? You're just a silly witch who knows nothing but to destroy others' joy and happiness, Amina said in anger. Kola couldn't believe her ears at all Amina said to the lady witch. She kept staring at her with her jaw dropped. I see. I will teach you never to disrespect an elder ever again. And to think that you dare to insult me? The witch thundered. She raised her hand into the sky, and everywhere became cloudy all of a sudden. Then a rope from nowhere appeared in that same hand. She pointed it at Amina, and the rope tied her up by itself. The lady witch carried Amina up with just one hand, high above her head. Then she started walking to God knows where. She looked back and saw Kola, who was still standing and trying to comprehend all she had just witnessed. The witch snapped her other finger, and Kola followed in no time. They proceeded again. Finally, they arrived at the witch's castle. She opened a room and dumped Amina inside, untied. Then she left Kola outside, under a tree, close to the window of the room where she had dumped Amina, and shut the door. Amina got up as soon as she was dumped in and started banging on the shut door without mercy. "Amina," a voice called. She looked back, and to her surprise, it was her grandmother. "Grandma," she exclaimed. Amina ran to her and hugged her. "How did you get here?" she asked. "I was taking a stroll yesterday when you all left for school, then got lost in the woods. I tried all I could to get home before the lady witch came hunting, but couldn't find my way. Then she came and forcefully brought me here. And you, what are you doing here?" her grandmother asked, with fear written all over her face. "We couldn't find you. So Kola and I came out into the woods to look for you, but only found your walking stick and your glasses. We were there when the witch came hunting," Amina explained. "Amina, you shouldn't have risked your lives to go out there in search of me. I'm a 92-year-old woman, for crying out loud. What if something bad happens to you and Kola? You're just too young for this," her grandmother lamented. "Grandma, nothing is going to happen to us. We are all going to get out of here," Amina assured her. Then she noticed a boy of her age sitting by the corner of the room. She looked at her grandmother and asked, "Who is he?" Her grandmother smiled. "His name is Chidi, and he's such a good boy." Amina walked up to him and stretched forth her hand for a handshake. "Hey Chidi, I'm Amina." He shook her hand. "Nice to meet you, Amina," he said. "What brought you here and how long have you been here?" she queried. "Well, I went to my friend's house after school one day and couldn't make it to my own house on time. The lady witch came hunting, saw me, and then brought me here. I've been here for 11 days, he answered. 11 long days? How do you intend to get out of here? Amina asked. Well, I have since quenched my thirst for freedom. Let her do whatever she wants with me, just like the others, he replied. Others? What does she do to them and where are they? Amina asked curiously. Chidi explained. Well, she has a special place where she keeps those people. They come out every 4 days. Every 4 days is when her co-witches come to her to buy humans to be used as slaves. Once she has brought you out more than 5 times and you don't get a buyer, she kills you immediately and uses you to prepare her concoctions. If she likes you, she won't kill you, but you'll be helping her prepare those concoctions and put them in tiny bottles while she goes out to hunt for more humans. So what about you and Grandma? Why did she separate you guys from the others? And me? Amina asked. Well, I had been the only one here ever since, and I still don't know why she separated us. But her co-witches will be coming around tomorrow to buy humans, he replied. That night, Amina sat close to her grandmother, wondering what to do next when the door opened and a lady walked in with a plate of just 3 slices of bread and a cup of water for the 3 of them. It broke Amina's heart when her grandmother told her she hadn't had anything to eat since she was brought here. Amina tried to give her bread to her grandmother, but she initially rejected it. Amina had to force her to eat it. It pained her to see Kola through the glass window, lying down out there all alone in the cold. She regretted involving Kola in all of this. The next day, the co-witches came just as Chidi had said. They were all dressed in black with a black bird sitting on each witch's shoulder, and each witch rode on a black goat. The humans in the other room were all paraded, and the same lady who had brought them bread the previous night opened the door to usher Amina, her grandmother, and Chidi out. Amina held her grandmother's hand as they made their way out. The witches checked the humans one after the other, and 2 witches ended up buying 2 ladies. They came to Amina's group, making her heart race. The witches checked them one after the other, and then left to be with their goats. "The boy and girl are too young, and the woman is too old. You can keep them for use," one of them advised. Then one of them pointed at Kola. "I want that goat," she said. Amina watched as the witch and the lady witch started bargaining for Kola, and the witch finally paid to have her. Her grandmother looked at her and gave her a signal to keep calm. But how was it possible to keep calm in all of this? The witch walked up to Kola and then commanded her to come, and Kola obliged. If goats could shed tears, Kola would have cried a full bucket of tears. She kept staring at Amina as they took her away. "No!" Amina screamed and ran after the witch and Kola, but the witch stretched forth her hand, and then a force suddenly hit Amina, carried her and slammed her on the ground. Chidi came running to her and tried helping her get on her feet, but she was in so much pain. Her grandmother too hurried up to her and held her in her arms, with tears rolling down her face. "Amina, you shouldn't have started this journey in the first place," she whispered. Then Amina raised her head and saw the lady witch staring at her. The witch turned her back and entered the castle. Amina looked at those humans still standing outside without uttering a word, and saw someone that looked like her dad from afar. "Dad?" she called. "Dad?" she called again. Then her grandmother looked up to see who she was referring to. "Logan," her grandmother called, but he didn't respond. Seeing that person who looked so much like her dad made Amina regain her strength. She got up, and she and her grandmother walked up to him. To their surprise, it was indeed him, but looking so unhealthy. "Dad, is that you?" Amina asked with teary eyes, then gave him a tight hug. Her grandmother reached out too and gave him a tight hug, but he didn't even respond, utter a word, or move an inch. He didn't even look at them. Then someone walked out from the castle and gave Amina's dad and the rest a signal. They all turned and marched after him like little dummies. "Logan!" her grandmother called, but he still didn't respond as they marched into the castle. Amina and her grandmother stood there dumbfounded. The same person who led them in came back and asked them to go into their room too. Then, Amina and her grandmother left with Chidi. That night, Amina sat in the room quietly, drowned in her own tears. Her grandmother too was in tears. Chidi reached out to console them, but they were too deep in thought and saddened to be consoled. When the lady who brings dinner opened the door with a tray of unappetizing food and just a cup of water, Amina saw her chance. After the lady dropped the tray and turned to leave, Amina pushed her aside and ran out, determined to find her father. "Amina, no!" She heard her grandmother scream from afar, but she proceeded. There were so many rooms in the castle that Amina didn't even know in which one her dad was. She heard footsteps and quickly hid under the stairs. 3 ladies walked past her with trays of food. Could it be that they are on their way to Dad's room? Amina thought to herself. She tiptoed and followed them. They arrived at a room and opened the door ajar, starting to drop their trays. Amina sneaked in, quickly sitting on the floor before they could notice her. The ladies served her dad and the others, and unknowingly served Amina too before leaving. Amina noticed that her dad and the other people locked up in that room had their gazes fixed on just one spot. All they did was scoop their food straight into their mouths without even looking at it. She got up and walked to her dad, held his hand, and said to him with tears rolling down her face, "Dad, whatever they did to you, you need not worry. I'll surely get us out of here." He and the others didn't even look at her. They continued eating. Amina stayed in that room for 2 nights because there was no way to get out. Then, on the night of the 2nd day, they brought dinner, opened the door ajar again, and she sneaked back out. Amina tiptoed through the corridor, raised her head, and saw 2 men coming towards her, but there was nowhere to hide. She looked beside her and saw a door to one of the rooms. She opened it and sneaked in, marveling at what she saw. There were mighty shelves full of concoction bottles in different colors arranged on them. She went toward one of the shelves and saw that the bottles also had tags on them. One was labeled Destruction, another Pain, and another Command. She went back to the door, opened it, and walked out towards the main entrance of the castle. She was about to open the castle's main door when she heard a voice. "How dare you?" Amina looked back and saw the Lady Witch. The witch grabbed one of Amina's ears and raised her with it, her legs suspended in the air. Then she slammed Amina on the floor. She immediately summoned all the people working there as slaves and pointed out the lady that had served them in the room the night Amina escaped. "How did she get out?" the witch asked her. "My lady, I'm so sorry. I was too scared to come tell you that the girl had escaped from the room. I was so afraid of your judgment. Please forgive me," the lady begged. But the Lady Witch commanded one of the slave men to take her out to be made into different concoction bottles. Amina became terrified, not knowing what the witch would do with her, but she felt sorry for the lady. The witch ordered another man to take Amina back to her room. "Take her out of here until I think of what to do with her," the witch commanded. As soon as he opened their room door, Amina saw her grandmother lying down with Chidi sitting beside her, crying. She ran towards her and cradled her grandmother's head in her arms. "What happened?" Amina asked Chidi. "She passed out and never woke up," he said, his voice trembling. "She's dead," the man who brought Amina in said matter-of-factly, then turned back and went out of the room, slamming the door. Amina wept bitterly, her world crumbling around her. The next morning they were all summoned by the Lady Witch. Amina stood there weeping and staring at her dad. Her grandmother's lifeless body was then brought out. "Go dump the body somewhere, let the birds feed on it," the Lady Witch ordered coldly. "Never!" Amina thundered. "My grandma must be buried," she said, her voice shaking with grief and anger. "Oh, really?" the witch asked, turning to one of her slaves. "Go bring her a shovel then. Let her bury her dead," she said with a cruel smirk. They brought a shovel and handed it over to Amina. She collected it and looked at her grandmother lying lifeless on the ground. Then she looked at her dad, who wasn't even looking at her. The Lady Witch ordered the slaves to lead Amina's dad and the rest inside the castle, but Chidi refused to go in. He came to Amina and took the shovel from her hands. Together, Amina and Chidi dug her grandmother's grave. They worked from morning till late in the night, with no food and no water. They ended up digging a shallow grave. With heavy hearts, they gently lowered Amina's grandmother into the grave and then covered it up. That night, as Amina lay exhausted and heartbroken, she made up her mind. "If I don't destroy this castle, then my name is not Amina," she said to herself, her determination growing stronger with each passing moment. Chidi and Amina were led back to their room after burying her grandmother. Amina told Chidi about the concoction bottles she had seen in the room where she had hidden. "I need to go back into that room," she whispered to Chidi. "I have unfinished business there." But how do you intend to escape from here again to do that? Chidi queried, his brow furrowed with concern. Somehow, Amina replied, her eyes glinting with determination. Can I come with you, please? Chidi begged, not wanting to be left alone. Amina looked at him with a broad smile on her face. Okay, she replied, grateful for the company and support. The next morning, they were all summoned and assembled by the Lady Witch again. It was her slave-buying day. They went outside, and her co-witches arrived in no time. They paraded as usual, ending up buying a man and 2 ladies. Then one of them walked up to Amina and Chidi, grabbing Chidi by the neck. I want this one, he said, marching towards the Lady Witch and dragging Chidi. They bargained, and finally, Chidi was taken away with them. At that point, Amina felt like a part of her had left. She wept bitterly and couldn't even swallow whatever it was that they served as food. Amina was sitting by the corner of the room the next morning when she heard movements by the window outside. She peeped and couldn't believe what she saw. It was Kola. She was so excited to see her goat again. When Kola saw Amina too, she started jumping up and down, performing all sorts of joyful stunts. Kola, you came back to me, Amina said with teary eyes, her heart swelling with hope. Kola started neighing even louder out of joy. Amina kept staring at her with smiles all over her face, feeling for the first time in days that maybe, just maybe, things might turn out okay. Amina felt like breaking the window and running to Kola at that moment. But before she could act, she saw someone walk out from the castle's main door. It was the Lady Witch, and this time she flew to Kola without walking. She looked at Amina, and then at Kola. Stupid goat, you came back, she said calmly, her voice laced with malice. Please don't do anything to her, Amina begged through the window. The witch looked at Amina, then back at Kola. She raised her hand and pointed it at Kola. Before Amina knew what was happening, the witch turned Kola into a rat. Amina screamed in horror and disbelief. She couldn't understand why the Lady Witch chose to be so cruel. I should have made this journey alone without Kola, Amina thought to herself, overwhelmed with guilt. The witch squatted and carried the rat in her palm, then went back into the castle. Amina stood by the window, drenched in her own tears. After a few minutes, a man opened her room door and dropped the rat on the floor, then left. Amina hurried to it and carried it gently in her palms. You're still my Kola, she whispered to it, and the rat nodded. That night, for the first time, Amina finished the food that was served because she ate with the rat, her Kola. After dinner, she sat with Kola in her palms and narrated everything that had happened when Kola had left and how she was planning to rescue her dad so they could all go back home. Kola looked at her again and nodded. Amina wasn't surprised that Kola seemed to understand all she narrated. Even as a goat, Amina used to speak to her, and she would nod or neigh in response. Amina woke up the next morning and couldn't find Kola. She searched everywhere in the room, called her name, but there was no response. She went hurriedly to the window and looked outside, but Kola was nowhere in sight. Amina sat on the floor crying again, wondering if she should just give up this fight and accept defeat. But then she steeled herself. No way, she thought to herself. After about an hour, she heard a screeching sound by the window. She hurried to check, and it was Kola dragging a key. Amina quickly collected the key and carried Kola in her palms. What key is this? She asked, looking at Kola, but the rat just kept staring at her. Amina stood there, wondering where Kola must have gotten a key from. Then she walked towards the door and inserted the key into the keyhole. twisted it, and the door came open. She closed and locked the door back immediately, her heart pounding with excitement and fear. She held Kola close to her chest and gave her a very tight hug. Later that night, Amina quietly opened the door again and stepped out of the room with Kola. They walked gently along the corridor towards the room where those concoction bottles were stored. When they finally arrived, Amina tried opening the door, but this time it was locked. She stood before the door and tried to force it open, to no avail. Then she looked behind her to tell Kola that they should go back and make another plan, but she couldn't find her. Amina looked everywhere, but Kola wasn't there. She got scared and confused at the same time. Then she heard footsteps. She quickly ran under the staircase to hide and was there for a few minutes. When she finally made up her mind to leave, Kola ran past her. Amina tried calling her to come back, but Kola ran towards that door again and stood there. Amina followed her there to carry her so they could go back to their room, but she noticed that the concoction room door was slightly open. How did Kola do it? She wondered. They went in, and Amina walked towards one of the shelves to properly check those tags written on the bottles. After spending close to 2 hours and not finding exactly what she was looking for, she looked at Kola and told her to help find any bottle with the tag antidote, or, if there was nothing like that, to search for any bottle with the freedom tag. Kola climbed the shelves, and after a few minutes, Amina saw her struggling with a concoction bottle. She whispered to Kola to throw it. Kola did as instructed, and when Amina checked the tag, it was labeled Spellbreaker. She gave Kola a thumbs up and asked her to hurry down so they could leave, but Kola was still busy. Kola, would you please climb down? Let's get out of here before we get caught, Amina begged. Kola started struggling with a book. Kola, get out of there, Amina said urgently. Then Kola pushed down the book and it landed right before Amina. It was boldly titled, My Book of Secrets. Amina grabbed it. Kola climbed down and they left for their room. As they made their escape, Amina's mind raced with possibilities. She had found something that might just be the key to their freedom. But the dangers were far from over. Back in their room, Amina checked the contents of the book and found a section titled, How to Break a Spell. She went through it and saw that she needed to put just a drop of the content from the concoction bottle she had picked into the mouth of whoever was under a spell. As she continued reading, she discovered a passage that said, If you need to free someone from the coven of witches, you need to make some written incantations in the book. Amina immediately thought of Chidi and decided to try it out. She sighed, looked at Kola, and closed her eyes. She stretched forth the book and started making those incantations to free Chidi. A few seconds after she was done, Chidi appeared in the room. Amina looked at Kola in amazement. It worked, she said, barely believing her eyes. Chidi looked around, bewildered. Amina, how on earth did you do that? He queried. She smiled, a mix of relief and pride on her face. Well, my name is Amina, she said simply. Amina explained everything to him right there and asked him to wait in the room while she and Kola went towards the room where her dad was kept. When they arrived, she opened the book again and made some incantations. The door popped open. She went towards her dad, opened his mouth, and put a drop of the content from the bottle in his mouth. After a few seconds, he turned and looked at her. Me, Amina, he called, his eyes focusing for the first time in months. What are you doing here? Amina smiled and gave him a hug, tears rolling down her face. She explained everything to him, how grandmother had died and all that had happened. He wept bitterly and asked if she could also give the content in the bottle to the other people around. Amina started putting drops in their mouths, but her dad kept telling them quietly not to say anything. They were overjoyed at the prospect of freedom, but they knew they had to be careful. They made a plan. In case the Lady Witch summoned everyone the next morning, they should all pretend as if they had not regained their freedom. They all complied, understanding the gravity of the situation. Amina then returned to her room with Cola, her heart pounding with a mixture of hope and fear. "So what next?" Chidi asked, his eyes wide with anticipation. "Just watch," Amina replied, a determined glint in her eye. The next morning, they were all summoned and assembled. Amina had read in the book that if you needed to destroy the witch, you had to spit in water and then pour it on her. It would render her powerless. She went outside with a cup of water she had spit in and hid it behind her back. She marched forward and stood before the witch, the cup of water concealed in her hands behind her. "You brat, your time is up," the witch said with her scary voice. "Not so fast. Your own time is up," Amina retorted, her voice steady despite her fear. "Well, my name is Sweet Amina, not a brat." Then she brought the cup of water forward to pour it on the witch, but in her nervousness, the cup slipped from her hand and fell to the ground.
To be continued if you love this story and anticipate the next episode. Just let us know by typing next in the comment section. Thank you for watching. We love you.